Welcome to Sci-Fi Vault of Tales. Like the video and subscribe to journey further.
In 847 battles, Colonel Elena Voss had never let an enemy walk away alive. Today might be the first. Acid rain hissed against her combat armor, its corrosive droplets sizzling on the reinforced titanium. She crouched behind a jagged slab of starcrete, the ruins of Nova 9 stretching before her under Kepler 22b's violet sky. Plasma storms crackled overhead, their electric bursts lighting up the shattered remains of a once proud space station. Nova 9, a hybrid of human and Xyren tech, had been built to mine ether crystals, the dark energy gems that powered faster-than-light travel. Whoever controlled them controlled the galaxy. For 10 years, humans and Xyren had bled for those crystals. And tonight, Voss led her battalion into the heart of the enemy's stronghold. At 38, Voss bore the marks of war. Her brown hair, streaked with silver, clung to her helmet's visor. Her sharp, hazel eyes scanned the battlefield, catching glints of plasma fire. Every decision weighed on her, each fallen soldier a name etched in her memory. Gamma Team. "Report!" she barked into her comm, her voice rough from shouting through the toxic air. Static buzzed, then a reply cut through. "West flank secured, Colonel. Heavy losses, but we've cracked their outer defenses." Voss clenched her jaw. Half the team gone, just to breach a wall. The Xyren fought like cornered beasts, their bioenergy tech making them deadly, yet something nagged at her gut. Nova 9 wasn't just a fortress, it hid something bigger. "Push forward, Gamma. Secure the core hub," she ordered, her mind racing. Protocol 0 demanded no mercy, no prisoners. The Xyren, with their glowing skin and cellular energy control, were too dangerous to capture. But Voss had seen their cities, their art, their families. They fought for survival, just like humans. Her instincts, honed by years of command, screamed that Protocol 0 was wrong. She adjusted her plasma rifle, its hum steadying her nerves. The air reeked of ozone and scorched metal, the ground slick with indigo Xyren blood and human red. Her HUD pinged, highlighting movement in the wreckage. Voss crept forward, boots crunching on debris. Nova 9's central hub loomed ahead, its twisted spires glowing faintly with ether energy. The station's hybrid design unnerved her. Human circuits intertwined with Xyren biotech, stolen and repurposed by the enemy. She rounded a corner, her rifle snapping up. There, half buried under a collapsed panel, lay a Xyren. Its pearlescent skin shimmered faintly, its gossamer wings torn and bloodied. A reflective visor hid its face, but the shallow rise of its chest showed it still lived. Elite insignia marked its armor, a bioenergy sniper, likely one of their best. Voss's finger hovered over the trigger. Protocol 0 was clear. Eliminate. On sight. Quick, clean, no hesitation. Her HUD locked onto the Xyren's vitals, indigo blood pooling beneath its slender form. But those wings, fragile yet defiant, stopped her. The Xyren's visor tilted, its gaze locking onto her through the tech. No fear, no plea, just a strange acceptance. "Colonel, core hub's down," a voice crackled through her comm. "We're setting charges. 30 minutes to evac." Voss kept her eyes on the Xyren. "Copy that. Found a survivor. I'll handle it." She lowered her rifle, heart pounding. "Can you hear me?" she asked, her translation implant humming. No response. Just that steady gaze like it saw through her armor, her rank, her humanity. Something about this Xyren felt different, like a puzzle she couldn't solve. "I'm not leaving you to die," Voss said, more to herself than the alien. She activated her field kit, scanning the Xyren's wounds. Shrapnel cuts, plasma burns, internal damage. It should have been dead. Why wasn't it? And why did its gaze feel so damn familiar? Colonel Elena Voss knelt beside the wounded Xyren, her field kit humming as it scanned the alien's injuries. Acid rain drummed on the ruins of Nova 9, the air thick with the stench of scorched biocircuitry. Kepler 22b's violet sky flickered, with plasma storms, casting eerie shadows over the shattered station. The Xyren, who called herself Lirien, lay half buried under debris, her pearlescent skin dimming with each shallow breath. Her gossamer wings, torn and bloodied, glowed faintly with bioenergy, a Xyren trait that let them manipulate cellular power to fly or heal. Voss's HUD flashed warnings: shrapnel wounds, plasma burns, internal bleeding. Lirien should be dead, yet her visor-locked gaze held no fear, only a strange, knowing calm. "Stay with me," Voss said, her voice steady despite the chaos. She tapped her comm, faking a report. "Central hub clear. No survivors." Her fingers worked fast, sealing. Lirien's wounds with nanogel. Protocol 0 demanded she pull the trigger, not play medic. Xyren were the enemy, their bioenergy tech a threat to humanity's grip on ether crystals, the dark energy gems powering faster than light travel. But Voss's gut screamed otherwise. She'd seen Xyren civilians, their glowing art, their desperate fight for survival. This one, Lirien, wasn't just a soldier. Her elite insignia and eerie calm hinted at something deeper, something Voss couldn't ignore. "Colonel, charges set." Lieutenant Harper's voice crackled through the comm. "Evac in 25 minutes. Move." Voss glanced at Lirien, her mind racing. Taking an enemy alive meant court-martial, maybe worse, but leaving her to die felt wrong, like betraying the spark of humanity she clung to after 10 years of war. "I've got a live one," she replied, her tone firm. "Bringing her for interrogation." Harper's response was sharp. "A Xyren? You're breaking Protocol 0, ma'am." Voss ignored him, slinging her rifle and hoisting Lirien's fragile form. The alien's wings twitched, bioenergy pulsing faintly, as if fighting to stay alive. The ground shook, a low rumble signaling Nova 9's self-destruct sequence. Voss cursed, her boots slipping on slick starcrete. Alarms blared in her helmet, warning of collapsing structures. She sprinted toward the evac zone, Lirien's weight slowing her down. A sudden flash lit the sky, and the central hub exploded, sending a shockwave of heat and debris. Voss dove behind a fallen pylon, shielding Lirien, but the Xyren moved faster, her wings flaring with a burst of bioenergy. They wrapped around Voss, absorbing the blast's force. Pain seared through Voss's ribs, but she was alive. Lirien, however, slumped, her visor cracked, indigo blood pooling beneath her. "You saved me," Voss whispered, stunned. She checked Lirien's vitals, her field kit beeping frantically. The Xyren's bioenergy was fading, her cellular reserves nearly spent. Voss dragged her to the evac shuttle, medics swarming as they boarded. "Get her stabilized," Voss snapped, ignoring their shocked stares. The shuttle roared into orbit, Kepler 22b's toxic surface shrinking below. Inside, medics worked on Lirien, their faces tight with distrust. Voss stood by, her silver-streaked hair damp with sweat, her mind churning. Why would an enemy risk everything for her? And why did Lirien's gaze feel like it pierced her soul? Harper approached, his jaw set. "High Command's demanding answers, Colonel. Why's this Xyren still breathing?" Voss met his eyes, her voice cold. "Because I say so, Lieutenant. She's got intel we need." Harper's scowl deepened, but he backed off. Voss turned to the medbay window, watching Lirien's chest rise faintly. The Xyren's cracked visor revealed one glowing eye, fixed on her. Voss's heart skipped. That look wasn't just gratitude, it was recognition. Like Lirien knew her from somewhere, somewhen. High Command would want her head for this, but Voss didn't care. Something bigger was at play, and she'd bet her stars it tied back to the war's bloody roots. The medbay of the Orion's spear hummed with sterile precision, its white walls stark against the chaos of war. Colonel Elena Voss stood rigid, her silver-streaked hair pulled tight under her cap. Through the observation window, Lirien lay, strapped to a biobed, her pearlescent skin glowing faintly under the scanners. Indigo blood stained the bandages on her torn wings, their bioenergy dim but stubborn. The Xyren's cracked visor was gone, revealing one luminous eye that seemed to track Voss even through the glass. High Command had summoned Voss for a virtual court-martial, their faces glaring from holoscreens. Breaking Protocol 0 wasn't just insubordination. It was treason. "Colonel Voss, explain yourself," General Kane's voice boomed sharp, as a plasma blade. "You spared an enemy combatant. Why?" Voss squared her shoulders, her hazel eyes steady. She has intel, sir. Critical to our survival. Kane's scowl deepened. Xyren don't talk. Protocol 0 exists for a reason. Their bioenergy tech makes them walking weapons. Voss clenched her fists, her mind flashing to Lirien's, wings shielding her from the Nova 9 blast. She saved my life, General. That's not the act of a weapon. The hollow screens flickered, officers muttering. Kane's voice cut through. You're facing charges, Colonel. Secure that Xyren. For interrogation, or you'll answer for it. Voss saluted, her jaw tight, and marched to the medbay. Inside, the air smelled of antiseptic and ozone. Lirien's eye locked onto her, unblinking, as if she'd been waiting. You're in deep trouble because of me, Lirien said, her voice raspy but clear, filtered through Voss's translation implant. Why risk it? Voss pulled a chair close, her armor clanking. Because you're not just a Xyren. You know something, and I need answers. Lirien's lips twitched, almost a smile. I am Nightwatch. We guard those who can end this war. You, Colonel, are one of them. Voss's brow furrowed. Nightwatch? The term was new, but it carried weight, like a secret carved in starlight. What's Nightwatch? She asked, her voice low. Lirien's eye glowed brighter, her wings twitching faintly. A hidden order. We study your kind, your tactics, your hearts. I've watched you for 10 years, leaking your enemy's plans. To keep you alive. Voss's stomach twisted. 10 years. She thought of battles where she'd survived against impossible odds. Sniper shots missing by inches. Xyren tech failing at critical moments. Why me? She pressed, her voice sharp. Lirien's gaze softened, almost human. Varenth. You remember it, don't you? The name hit Voss like a shockwave. Varenth, a Xyren village raised a decade ago, wasn't just a massacre. It was a cover-up for a human-Xyren hybrid experiment, a secret even Voss barely knew. Her mind flashed to a crumbling temple, a child with glowing wings hiding among the ruins. She'd defied orders then, letting the child flee. You were there, Voss whispered, her heart racing. Lirien nodded, her eye never leaving Voss's face. You saw me, a scared kid, and chose mercy. That choice changed everything. Before Voss could respond, the medbay door hissed open. Lieutenant Harper stormed in, his face twisted with anger. Colonel, this is insane, he snapped, gesturing at Lirien. Her kind killed my brother at Rigel's Pass. Why's she still breathing? Voss stood, her voice icy. Stand down, Lieutenant. She's our asset now. Harper's eyes blazed, his hand twitching near his sidearm. Asset? She's a Xyren, ma'am. A monster. Lirien's gaze shifted to Harper, calm but piercing. Your brother fought bravely, she said softly. I made sure his death was quick. Harper froze, his face paling. Voss stepped between them, her pulse pounding. What did Lirien know about Rigel's Pass? And what else was she hiding about? Varenth? The medbay of the Orion spear buzzed with tension, its sterile lights casting harsh shadows. Colonel Elena Voss stood frozen, Lirien's words echoing in her mind. Varenth. That name dragged her back 10 years, to a mission she'd buried deep. She saw it clear as day, a Xyren village in flames, its glowing spires crumbling under human plasma fire. Varenth wasn't just a raid, it was a cover-up for a secret human-Xyren hybrid experiment, a project to merge Aether Crystal tech with bioenergy. Voss, then a lieutenant, had been ordered to wipe out every witness. But in a shattered temple, she'd found a child, her tiny wings pulsing with light, cowering behind a statue. Run, Voss had whispered, defying orders. The child vanished into the toxic jungle. Voss blinked, the memory fading as she faced Lirien. The Xyren lay on the biobed, her pearlescent skin dim under the scanners, her torn wings twitching faintly. That was you, Voss said, her voice low, almost breaking. The kid in Varenth. Lirien's luminous eye met hers, steady and unyielding. Yes, Colonel. Your mercy spared me. It changed me. Voss's chest tightened. She'd saved a life, but at what cost? The war had raged on, fueled by Aether Crystals, the dark energy gems that powered faster than light travel. Losing them meant humanity would be trapped on Kepler 22b, a death sentence in this hostile galaxy. Lirien's voice rasped through the translation implant. I joined Nightwatch, trained to fight, to think like you. For 10 years I shadowed. You sabotaging Xyren plans to keep you alive. Voss's mind raced, piecing together battles where she'd cheated death. A sniper's shot missing by inches at Deneb's rift. A Xyren drone malfunctioning at Orion's belt. All her luck wasn't luck at all. You were there, Voss said, her tone sharp. Every time I should have died. Lirien nodded, her wings flickering with faint bioenergy. I owed you a debt. But it's more than that. Your choice at Varenth proved humans can choose mercy over war. Voss paced, her boots clicking on the medbay floor. Why risk everything for me? She asked, her hazel eyes searching Lirien's face. The Xyren's gaze softened, almost human. Nightwatch believes in bridges, not walls. You're a bridge, Colonel. Your heart can end this war. Voss's jaw clenched. A bridge? She was a soldier, not a diplomat. Yet Lirien's words stirred something deep, a spark of humanity she'd buried under Protocol Zero's cold logic. The medbay door hissed open. Lieutenant Harper stormed in again, his face red with fury. High Command's breathing down our necks, ma'am. They want that Xyren dead. Voss spun, her voice cutting like steel. She's our asset, Harper. Back off. He stepped closer, his hand near his sidearm. An asset who knows too much. What's Varenth, Colonel? Why's she talking about it? Voss's heart skipped. Harper had overheard. Before she could answer, an alert blared through the ship's comm. Priority intel, a tech shouted. Xyren virus detected in Nova 9's core. It targets ether bonds in human cells. If it spreads, we're grounded. No FTL. Voss's blood ran cold. Without FTL, humanity was stuck on Kepler 22b, easy prey for Xyren forces. She turned to Lirien, who struggled to sit up, her wings trembling. I know the virus, Lirien said, her voice weak but firm. I can help stop it, but we have less than 2 days. Voss met her gaze, seeing that same knowing look from Nova 9. Harper scoffed. Trust a Xyren? You're betting our lives. On her, ma'am. Voss ignored him, her mind racing. Varenth, Nightwatch, a virus that could doom humanity. What else did Lirien know? And why did it feel like she held the key to more than just this war? The Orion spear thrummed with tension, its corridors alive with the hum of engines and urgent footsteps. Colonel Elena Voss stood in the medbay, her hazel eyes locked on Lirien's biobed. The Xyren's pearlescent skin flickered under. The scanners, her torn wings barely glowing with bioenergy. The alert about the ether virus still rang in Voss's ears. A Xyren weapon that could break the molecular bonds of ether crystals in human cells, grounding humanities faster than light. Travel? Without FTL, they'd be trapped on Kepler 22b, a sitting target in a hostile galaxy. Lirien's claim that she could stop it with only 48 hours left hung heavy in the air. Lieutenant Harper paced nearby, his face twisted with distrust. You're buying this, Colonel, he snapped, gesturing at Lirien. She's Xyren. Her kind killed thousands, including my brother at Rigel's Pass. Voss's jaw tightened. Harper wasn't just her second in command. He was her friend, bound by years of shared battles. But his grief fueled his hatred, blinding him to Lirien's actions. She saved my life, Harper, Voss said, her voice firm but strained. She's our best shot at stopping this virus. Harper's eyes blazed. Or she's leading us into a trap. You're risking everything on an enemy. Voss's mind churned, memories of past battles surfacing. She'd always followed Protocol Zero, gunning down Xyren without question. Yet doubts had crept in over the years. A Xyren child's drawing found in rubble, a soldier's dying plea, in a language she couldn't understand. Each time she'd buried her unease. But Lirien's words about Varenth cracked that armor. Saving that child a decade ago had been her one act of defiance, a spark of humanity she'd thought lost. Now, Lirien claimed to be that child, a Nightwatch operative who'd protected her for years. Could she trust her? Lirien stirred, her luminous eye fixing on Voss. The virus is in Nova 9's core, she rasped, her voice weak but clear through. The translation implant. I can guide you to it, but we need to move fast. Voss stepped closer, ignoring Harper's glare. "How do you know so much?" she asked, her tone sharp. Lirien's wings twitched, bioenergy pulsing faintly. "Nightwatch has eyes everywhere. I infiltrated Xyren bases, learned their plans. The virus is their last resort to trap you here." Voss's heart raced. If true, Lirien was humanity's only hope. If false, she was walking into a slaughter. Harper grabbed Voss's arm, his voice low and urgent. "High Command's watching, ma'am. If you trust her and she betrays us, we're done. All of us." Voss shook him off, her mind flashing to those lucky escapes. A sabotaged Xyren cannon, a perfectly timed evac. Lirien's work, not chance. Her human instincts, sharpened by years of war, screamed to act. "We're going back to Nova 9, she said, her voice cutting through the medbay's hum. "We'll destroy the virus ourselves." Harper's face darkened. "You're betting humanity's future on her. On a Xyren." Voss turned to Lirien, whose eye held that same knowing look from the battlefield. "You better be worth it," she said, her words heavy with resolve. Lirien nodded, struggling to sit up. "I've kept you alive this far, Colonel. Trust me now." The medbay's alarms blared again, a new report flashing on the screens. Xyren forces were regrouping around Nova 9, their bioenergy signatures spiking. Time was running out. Voss's gaze lingered on Lirien's torn wings, their faint glow, a reminder of her sacrifice. Was this Xyren her salvation, or her downfall? And what secrets of Varanth's hybrid experiments would they uncover in the heart of that ruined station? The shuttle dropped toward Kepler 22b, its hull rattling as acid rain battered the shields. Colonel Elena Voss gripped her plasma rifle, her hazel eyes scanning the team. Lieutenant Harper sat across from her, his jaw set, his distrust of their Xyren ally clear. Beside Voss, Lirien hunched in a biosuit, her pearlescent skin glowing faintly through the visor. Her torn wings, patched with nanogel, twitched with bioenergy, a Xyren trait that let her sense cellular traps. The mission was clear. Infiltrate Nova 9's core, destroy the Aether virus before it grounded humanity's faster than light travel. 40 hours remained, and failure meant being stranded on this toxic world. Kepler 22b unfolded below, a nightmare of glowing flora and jagged rocks under a violet sky. Plasma storms crackled, their electric bursts lighting up the shuttle's viewport. The planet's hostile ecosystem forced both humans and Xyren to adapt, their bioarmor filtering the air's poison. Voss's HUD pinged, mapping Nova 9's ruins. The station's hybrid tech, a mix of human circuits and Xyren bioenergy, loomed ahead, its spires pulsing with Aether Crystal light. "We're landing in 5, Voss said, her voice steady over the comm. "Lirien, you're on point for traps," Harper scoffed. "Trusting her already, ma'am?" Voss shot him a look. "She's our guide, Lieutenant. Deal with it." Lirien's luminous eye met Voss's through her visor. "I'll keep us alive," she said, her voice raspy, but firm through the translation implant. Harper muttered something, but Voss ignored him. She'd convinced the team to work with Lirien, but the cost was high. High Command's court-martial threat hung over her, and Harper's loyalty wavered. Yet Lirien's actions, saving her at Nova 9, guarding her for a decade, spoke louder than orders. The shuttle touched down, its ramp hissing open to reveal a glowing jungle. Bioluminescent vines pulsed like veins, their light casting eerie shadows. Voss led the team out, her boots sinking into toxic soil. Lirien moved ahead, her wings flaring as she scanned for Xyren traps. "Energy spikes, 50 meters north," she warned, her bioenergy syncing with the environment. Voss nodded, signaling the team to follow. They crept through the ruins, plasma rifles humming, the air thick with ozone and the scent of burnt starcrete. At a clearing, Voss signaled a halt. The team crouched among glowing ferns, their bioarmor humming softly. "We're exposed here," Harper said, his voice low. "If she's leading us into an ambush, we're done." Voss turned to Lirien, who knelt nearby, her wings pulsing faintly. "Tell me about Varanth," Voss said, her tone sharp. "What was it really?" Lirien's eye glowed, her voice steady. "A lab, Colonel. Humans and Xyren tried to merge ether tech with our bioenergy. My family died to hide it. Voss's stomach twisted. A hybrid experiment, buried in blood. And you? She asked. Lyrien's gaze softened. I was their last success. Before Voss could press further, Lyrien's wings flared, bioenergy spiking. Ambush, she hissed, pointing to the jungle. Xyren signatures lit up Voss's HUD, their bioenergy cloaks failing under Lyrien's scan. Take cover, Voss shouted, diving behind a rock. Harper opened fire, plasma bolts sizzling through the air. Lirien vanished into the shadows, her wings a blur as she moved to flank the enemy. Voss's heart pounded. Was Lirien fighting for them or against them? The jungle erupted in chaos, Xyren bioblades clashing with human tech. 40 hours to save humanity, and their guide was gone. What secrets of Veranth drove Lirien, and would she return to lead them to the core or betray them in the dark? Plasma bolts scorched the air, lighting up the glowing jungle around Nova 9's ruins. Colonel Elena Voss ducked behind a Starcrete slab, her bio-armor humming against Kepler-22b's toxic breeze. Her team fought fiercely, their rifles blazing. Against Xyren ambushers. The enemy's bioenergy blades, pulsing with cellular power, sliced through vines and metal alike. Voss's HUD screamed warnings, multiple hostiles, closing fast. The Aether virus, a Xyren weapon that could shatter humanity's faster than light travel, sat in Nova 9's core, less than 30 hours from activation. Lirien, their Xyren guide, had vanished into the shadows to flank the enemy, leaving Voss to wonder if she'd return or betray them. Harper, cover the left, Voss shouted, her voice sharp over the comm. Lieutenant Harper fired a burst, his face grim but focused. Where's your pet Xyren, Colonel? He snapped, dodging a bioblade's arc. Voss ignored him, her hazel eyes scanning the chaos. Her human ingenuity kicked in, spotting a fallen Xyren drone nearby. She sprinted to it, ripping out its power cell with gloved hands. What are you doing? Harper yelled, as plasma fire zipped overhead. Voss grinned, wiring the cell to her rifle's core. Making an EMP. Xyren tech hates overloads. The makeshift device hummed, a testament to human adaptability under pressure. A flicker of light caught her eye. Lirien emerged from the jungle, her pearlescent skin bloodied, her torn wings barely glowing. She moved like a specter, her bioenergy flaring as she disarmed 2 Xyren with precise strikes. Cores this way, she called, her voice raspy through Voss's translation implant. The team rallied, following her through a maze of glowing ruins. Nova 9's central hub loomed ahead, its spires pulsing with Aether Crystal energy. Voss's EMP device buzzed, ready to disrupt the core's defenses. Nice to see you, Lirien, she said, her tone dry. Thought you ditched us. Lyrien's luminous eye glinted. Not yet, Colonel. Inside the hub, Xyren guards swarmed, their bioenergy shields crackling. Voss fired her EMP, a pulse of light frying their tech. Her team pushed forward, plasma bolts meeting bioblades in a deadly dance. Lirien led them to the core, a massive chamber where Aether crystals glowed like trapped stars. A Xyren commander, clad in elite armor, blocked their path. Traitor! He roared at Lirien, his voice booming through the implant. You leaked our plans, Nightwatch scum. Lyrien's wings flared, her bioenergy surging. I chose peace. Over slaughter, she shot back, her tone fierce. Voss's stomach twisted. Lirien had betrayed her own kind for humanity, risking everything to protect her. Focus on the core, Voss ordered, tossing Lirien the EMP. The Xyren caught it, darting toward the virus's housing, a glowing cylinder pulsing with dark energy. Voss and Harper covered her, their rifles blazing. The commander lunged, his bioblade grazing Lyrien's side. She stumbled, indigo blood dripping, but kept moving. Lirien, you good? Voss yelled, her heart pounding. Lyrien's eye met. Hers resolute. I have to finish this, Colonel. With a burst of bioenergy, Lirien slammed the EMP into the core's controls, frying a section of the virus's system. Sparks flew, the chamber shaking as alarms blared, but her wings dimmed, her body trembling from the effort. The commander roared, rallying more Xyren to block their escape. Voss's HUD flashed. The core was unstable, minutes from collapse. Lirien's sacrifice had bought them a chance, but at what cost? "We're not done yet," Voss shouted, grabbing Lirien's arm. The Xyren's eye flickered, pain etched in her gaze. Was she strong enough to reach the virus's heart, or would her betrayal of her kind end in this glowing tomb? The core chamber of Nova 9 shook, its ether crystals pulsing wildly, casting jagged shadows across the Starcrete walls. Colonel Elena Voss fired her plasma rifle, its bolts searing through Xyren guards. The air burned with ozone, the hum of bioenergy blades clashing against human tech. Her team fought desperately, pinned down by the Xyren commander's elite squad. Lirien, wounded and faltering, clung to the virus's glowing cylinder, her pearlescent skin dimming as indigo blood dripped from her side. The ether virus, designed to shatter humanity's faster-than-light travel, was seconds from activation. Voss's HUD screamed. The core was collapsing, minutes from detonation. "Lirien, move!" Voss shouted, dodging a bioblade's arc. Xyren's torn wings flickered, her bioenergy nearly spent from triggering Voss's EMP. Lirien's luminous eye locked onto the cylinder, her voice raspy through the translation implant. "It's not enough, Colonel. The virus is still active." Voss's heart pounded. They'd come too far to fail. She sprinted to Lirien, her bioarmor hissing against Kepler-22b's toxic air leaking through the chamber's cracks. "We'll find another way," she said, grabbing Lirien's arm. But Lirien shook her head, her gaze fierce. "There's only one way!" Lieutenant Harper fired from cover, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Colonel, we're out of time. Get her. Out or we all die." Voss ignored him, her human resolve kicking in. She'd defied Protocol Zero to save Lirien. She wouldn't abandon her now. But Lirien's wings flared, bioenergy surging in a final desperate burst. "You showed me mercy at Varanth," she said, her voice steady despite her pain. "Now, let me repay it." Before Voss could react, Lirien plunged her hands into the cylinder, her bioenergy merging with the ether network's glow. The chamber erupted in light, ether crystals screaming as their energy destabilized. Lirien's body trembled, her skin cracking like porcelain, her wings dissolving into streams of shimmering particles. "No!" Voss yelled, lunging forward, but Harper pulled her back. The virus's cylinder sparked, its systems frying as Lirien's bioenergy overloaded it. The commander roared, charging with his bioblade, but Lirien's light pulsed, knocking him flat. The virus shut down, its threat to humanity's FTL travel gone. But Lirien slumped, her form fading into the ether network's glow. Voss broke free, catching Lirien as she fell. "Stay with me," she whispered, her voice cracking. Lirien's eye dimmed, but she pressed a metallic fabric into Voss's hand, a remnant of her mother's wings. "Tell my story, Colonel," she rasped. "Your mercy saved me. Let it save the galaxy." Her body dissolved, particles merging with the ether network, leaving a faint signal pulsing in Voss's HUD. Lirien wasn't gone. Her consciousness lived on, a ghost in the network, guiding them still. The chamber buckled, Starcrete crumbling as alarms blared. "We gotta go!" Harper shouted, dragging Voss toward the exit. She clutched the fabric, her mind reeling. Lirien had sacrificed everything, not just for her, but for humanity. The team fought through the last Xyren guards, plasma bolts lighting their path. Voss's HUD tracked Lirien's signal, a steady beacon in the chaos. They reached the shuttle, the Aether core exploding behind them, a fireball consuming Nova 9's ruins. As the shuttle climbed, Voss stared at the fabric, its metallic sheen catching the light. Lirien's transformation had saved them, but what did her signal mean? Was she still fighting, woven into the ether network, or was this the start of something bigger? The core chamber of Nova 9 shook, its ether crystals pulsing wildly, casting jagged shadows across the Starcrete walls. Colonel Elena Voss fired her plasma rifle, its bolts searing through Xyren guards. The air burned with ozone, the hum of bioenergy blades clashing against human tech. Her team fought desperately, pinned down by the Xyren commander's elite squad. Lirien, wounded and faltering, clung to the virus's glowing cylinder, her pearlescent skin dimming as indigo blood dripped from her side. The Aether virus, designed to shatter humanity's faster-than-light travel, was seconds from activation. Voss's HUD screamed. The core was collapsing, minutes from detonation. "Lirien, move!" Voss shouted, dodging a bioblade's arc. The Xyren's torn wings flickered, her bioenergy nearly spent from triggering Voss's EMP. Lirien's luminous eye locked onto the cylinder, her voice raspy through the translation implant. "It's not enough, Colonel. The virus is still active." Voss's heart pounded. They'd come too far to fail. She sprinted to Lirien, her bioarmor hissing against Kepler-22b's toxic air leaking through the chamber's cracks. "We'll find another way," she said, grabbing Lirien's arm. But Lirien shook her head, her gaze fierce. "There's only one way," Lieutenant Harper fired from cover, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Colonel, we're out of time. Get her." "Out or we all die!" Voss ignored him, her human resolve kicking in. She'd defied Protocol Zero to save Lirien. She wouldn't abandon her now. But Lirien's wings flared, bioenergy surging in a final, desperate burst. "You showed me mercy at Varanth," she said, her voice steady despite her pain. "Now, let me repay it." Before Voss could react, Lirien plunged her hands into the cylinder, her bioenergy merging with the Aether network's glow. The chamber erupted in light, Aether crystals screaming as their energy destabilized. Lirien's body trembled, her skin cracking like porcelain, her wings dissolving into streams of shimmering particles. "No!" Voss yelled, lunging forward, but Harper pulled her back. The virus's cylinder sparked, its systems frying as Lirien's bioenergy overloaded it. The commander roared, charging with his bioblade, but Lirien's light pulsed, knocking him flat. The virus shut down, its threat to humanity's FTL travel gone. But Lirien slumped, her form fading into the Aether network's glow. Voss broke free, catching Lirien as she fell. "Stay with me," she whispered, her voice cracking. Lirien's eye dimmed, but she pressed a metallic fabric into Voss's hand, a remnant of her mother's wings. "Tell my story, Colonel," she rasped. "Your mercy saved me. Let it save." "The galaxy." Her body dissolved, particles merging with the Aether network, leaving a faint signal pulsing in Voss's HUD. Lirien wasn't gone. Her consciousness lived on, a ghost in the network, guiding them still. The chamber buckled, Starcrete crumbling as alarms blared. "We gotta go!" Harper shouted, dragging Voss toward the exit. She clutched the fabric, her mind reeling. Lirien had sacrificed everything, not just for her, but for humanity. The team fought through the last Xyren guards, plasma bolts lighting their path. Voss's HUD tracked Lirien's signal, a steady beacon in the chaos. They reached the shuttle, the high core exploding behind them, a fireball consuming Nova 9's ruins. As the shuttle climbed, Voss stared at the fabric, its metallic sheen catching the light. Lirien's transformation had saved them, but what did her signal mean? Was she still fighting, woven into the Aether network, or was this the start of something bigger? Elena Voss stood before the Nightwatch monument, its spire gleaming under Earth's golden sun. The Pacific breeze carried thousands of metallic fabrics, their shimmering threads dancing like Xyren wings. Each piece honored Lirien, the Nightwatch, operative whose sacrifice ended the war on Kepler-22b. Voss's civilian jacket felt light without her bioarmor, but the weight of Lirien's metallic fabric pinned to her chest grounded her. As the first ambassador of the Species Integration Protocol, she traveled the galaxy, sharing Lirien's story to forge peace between humans and Xyren. Her broadcasts had sparked a movement, uniting species through shared Aether Crystal tech. The monument buzzed with visitors, human and Xyren alike. Voss's hazel eyes scanned the crowd, catching glimpses of glowing Xyren skin and human uniforms. The Aether network, now a shared resource, hummed with Lirien's signal, her consciousness guiding ships through faster-than-light jumps. Voss had helped develop hybrid tech, blending human circuits with Xyren bioenergy, a legacy of Varanth's experiments. Every FTL relay bore Lirien's touch, a ghost in the network weaving peace. "You did this," Voss whispered to the fabric, her voice soft but firm. The galaxy was healing, but the work was far from done. A young Xyren approached, her pearlescent skin shimmering, her wings small but vibrant with bioenergy. "Ambassador Voss?" she asked, her voice clear through a translation implant. "I'm Syleth, Nightwatch initiate." Voss's pulse quickened. The coded ether signal from weeks ago had hinted at more Nightwatch operatives, and here was one. "Lirien's story brought me here," Syleth said, her luminous eyes bright. "She showed us mercy can bridge worlds." Voss smiled, her human warmth breaking through. "She'd be proud, Syleth. What's your mission?" The Xyren's wings flared. "To guard the protocol, like she guarded you." Voss's mind raced. Nightwatch was growing, inspired by Lirien's sacrifice and her own defiance of Protocol Zero. She'd faced skeptics, human and Xyren, who called peace a fantasy. Yet the monument stood as proof, its fabrics a symbol of unity. "How many are you?" Voss asked, her tone sharp but curious. Syleth's gaze steadied. "Enough to watch the stars. Lirien's signal guides us through the ether network." Voss's fingers brushed Lirien's fabric, feeling its faint pulse. The Xyren's consciousness was more than a ghost. It was a beacon for a new era. Lieutenant Harper joined them, his uniform crisp, but his face relaxed. "Never thought I'd stand here without a rifle," he said, eyeing Syleth with cautious respect. "You're changing the galaxy, ma'am." Voss nodded, her resolve unshaken. "Not me, Harper. Lirien, and people like Syleth." Harper glanced at the monument, where a human child placed a fabric beside a Xyren's offering. "Guess mercy's contagious," he said, a faint smile breaking through. Voss's heart swelled. Humanity's adaptability, its stubborn hope, had turned a war into a movement. As the sun dipped, Voss stepped to a hollow platform, addressing a galactic feed. "Lirien taught us mercy can outshine war," she said, her voice clear and strong. "The species integration protocol is our future, human and Xyren together." The crowd cheered, fabrics glinting in the dusk. Later, Voss gazed at Kepler 22b's faint star through an FTL relay, Lirien's signal pulsing in her HUD. "Keep guiding us," she whispered, her human spirit alight with purpose. Nightwatch was rising, and Voss would carry Lirien's legacy forward. But what other operatives hid in the stars, and what new challenges would test this fragile peace? The stars stretched endless beyond the viewport of the stellar accord, a hybrid human-Xyren ship gliding through faster-than-light travel. Ambassador Elena Voss stood at the command deck, her silver-streaked hair catching the glow of Aether Crystal. Relays. 6 months had passed since the Nightwatch monument rose on Earth, its metallic fabrics a beacon of peace. The species integration protocol flourished, uniting humans and Xyren in shared tech and trust. Lirien's signal, pulsing through the ether network, guided every FTL jump, her consciousness a ghost weaving the galaxy's fragile unity. Voss clutched Lirien's metallic fabric, its shimmer a reminder of her vow to carry the Nightwatch legacy forward. The stellar accord was bound for Rigel 7, a neutral colony hosting the first galactic summit. Voss's mission was clear: solidify the protocol, prove mercy could outlast war. Her hazel eyes scanned the deck, where human and Xyren crew worked side by side, their bioenergy implants syncing with human circuits. The hybrid tech, born from Varenth's experiments, powered the ship, a testament to human ingenuity and Xyren adaptability. "Approaching Rigel 7, a Xyren navigator said, her wings flickering with bioenergy. Voss nodded, her voice steady. "Prepare for docking. This summit changes everything." Lieutenant Harper, now a protocol liaison, joined her, his uniform marked with a Nightwatch emblem. "Never thought I'd trust a Xyren crew," he said, his tone lighter than the scowl he'd worn on Kepler 22b. "You and Lirien rewrote the rules, ma'am." Voss smiled, her human warmth breaking through. "We just reminded people what's possible, Harper." He glanced at her fabric, his voice low. "That signal's still out there, isn't it? Guiding us?" Voss's fingers brushed the fabric, feeling its faint pulse. "Lirien's never far," she said, her resolve unshaken. A comm alert flashed, pulling Voss to a hollow screen. Syleth, the young Nightwatch initiate, appeared, her pearlescent skin glowing. "Ambassador, we've intercepted a new ether signal. she said, her luminous eyes urgent. "It's coded like Lirien's, but from an unknown source." Voss's pulse quickened. The Nightwatch network was vast, its operatives hidden across the stars. "Location?" she asked, her tone sharp. Silith's wings twitched. "Near the Orion Nebula, a Xyren outpost. It mentions Varenth's final protocol." Voss's stomach twisted. Varenth's hybrid experiments had secrets yet to unravel. "Send a probe," Voss ordered, her mind racing. The summit was critical, but this signal could shift the balance. Harper frowned, his old instincts surfacing. "Could be a rogue Xyren faction, ma'am. Peace is shaky." Voss met his gaze, her human defiance flaring. "Or it's Nightwatch, calling us to finish." What Lirien started. The holoscreen flickered, showing Rigel 7's glowing docks, where human and Xyren ships mingled. The summit would test the protocol, but the signal hinted at a deeper mission, tied to Lirien's ghost and Varenth's buried truths. As the ship docked, Voss addressed the crew, her voice clear over the comm. "We're here to build a future, not repeat the past. Lirien showed us mercy can unite us. Let's prove her right." The crew cheered, human and Xyren voices blending. Voss stepped onto Rigel 7's platform, greeted by diplomats and a Xyren elder with wings like Lirien's. The ether network hummed in her HUD, Lirien's signal steady, but joined by a new pulse, faint, yet insistent. Voss's heart raced. Nightwatch was out there, guarding the stars. What was Varenth's final protocol, and how would it shape the galaxy's fragile peace?